A sudden revelation. In the dimly lit corner of a space station's bar, a grizzled old alien veteran named Nuran was engaged in a conversation with a wide-eyed young recruit named Zach. The bar was buzzing with a low hum of conversations and the flicker of holo-displays showing ongoing battles. Zach's attention was firmly fixed on the images of human marines storming a Thoron dreadnought, his antennae twitching with excitement and disbelief. Nuran took a long, contemplative sip from his glowing blue drink before letting out a harsh chuckle. "I thought the rumors about humans were exaggerated," Zach said, his voice tinged with awe. "But these displays, there's something else. How did a primitive species from a backwater world manage to challenge the Galactic Council?" Nuran's eyes narrowed as he set his drink down with a heavy thud. "Because we were fools," he growled, his voice rough and scarred by countless battles. "Arrogant and complacent fools. When we first discovered Earth, we thought it would be an easy conquest. Just march in, plant a few flags, and add another trophy to our collection." Zach leaned in closer, clearly fascinated. What went wrong? Nuran leaned back, his gaze distant as he reminisced about the past. "We underestimated humanity's most powerful weapon. No, not their guns or their ships. It's their unbreakable spirit. Humans value freedom above everything else. They'd rather die on their feet than serve on their knees. So when the Council tried to fold them into our galactic community," he made air quotes with his fingers, his tone dripping with sarcasm, "the humans told us to shove it." The young recruit shivered, absorbing Nuran's words. The old veteran's voice was laden with a mixture of respect and bitterness. That refusal cost the Council thousands of ships and millions of lives. If humans weren't stopped, the Council would have crumbled. But seeing the footage of human fighters chasing Zoran marauders through an asteroid field, Zap's eyes widened with the realization. What if they could bloody the galaxy's nose so badly while being outgunned and outnumbered? What would happen if Earth really went to war? Nuran's face took on a dark expression as he took another swig from his glass. Well, the Council was furious. First thing they did was cut Earth off. No more trade, no more travel. They thought that by choking off supplies, they'd bring the humans to their knees. Zap's eyes were glued to Nuran. But the humans didn't just fold, did they? Nuran shook his head, a sleek grin spreading across his face. Nope. They rolled up their sleeves, got to work, and built up their own mines, factories, farms. They even started cooking up new tech, things we'd never seen before. In just 10 years, their economy was going toe-to-toe with the biggest players in the galaxy. The young recruit's jaw dropped. The Council must have been furious. "Oh, they were," Nuran confirmed with a low whistle of appreciation. "So they assembled a blockade, parked their ships in orbit around Earth, and tried to strangle the human supplies. But the humans had a surprise up their sleeve." Zach leaned forward eagerly. "What did they do?" Nuran's eyes gleamed with a mix of pride and grudging respect. They broke out a new weapon, an EMP cannon. One shot from that beast, and the Council's fancy ships were nothing but floating scrap metal, shields, weapons, engines, everything fried in an instant. The young recruit's eyes widened in astonishment. A weapon that can take out an entire fleet in one shot. Nuran nodded. Exactly. The Council ships were dead in space. Not a single system still running. The humans then launched surgical strikes on the command vessels, picked them off one by one, and left the rest of the fleet in chaos. Zach's disbelief was palpable. So they crippled the entire armada with just one shot. Yep, Nuran confirmed with a note of grudging admiration in his tone. The Council had no choice but to retreat, but the humans weren't finished. They sent an ultimatum: lift the sanctions and acknowledge human sovereignty or else. The recruits stared in amazement, and the Council actually listened. Nuran barked a laugh. They had no choice. They were still licking their wounds from the thrashing they received, so they agreed. Earth became a recognized power in the galaxy. Zach sat back stunned. A single species stood up to the Council and won. That's incredible. Naren's grin widened. Oh, that's just the beginning. Earth's victory sent tremors across the galaxy. Other races started wondering if the Council was really as tough as they claimed. Rebellions began cropping up everywhere. Zack's eyes were wide with realization, so the Council had to invite the humans to join them as equals. Nuran nodded. Exactly. The Council realized that humans were a force to be reckoned with. They had the technology, the resources, and a spirit that couldn't be broken. So instead of fighting them, the Council decided to bring them into the fold. The young recruit looked incredulous. What did the other races think of that? Naren chuckled, shaking his head. There were plenty of objections. Some of the more established races thought the humans were getting special treatment. They argued that Earth should have to prove itself just like everyone else. Zack's curiosity was piqued. How did the humans handle that? Naren's eyes twinkled with mischief. Oh, they had an ace up their sleeve. Remember that grand tour they gave the Council delegates? Well, it turns out that the humans had been recording everything, every conversation, every reaction. They used that footage to sway the other races. The recruits' eyes widened in understanding. They released the recordings to the galactic media. Naren nodded. Exactly. They showed the delegates glowing praise of Earth and its people. They even included moments where delegates criticized the Council's handling of the situation. It was a masterstroke. Zack was impressed, and that made the other races reconsider. Yep, Naren confirmed. The other races saw the recordings and started questioning their assumptions about the humans. Some even began to see Earth as a potential ally against the Council's tyranny. Zack shook his head in wonder. So what happened next? Naren drained his glass and set it down with a thud. The Council invited Earth's delegation to their headquarters to take their place as equals. And when the humans arrived, they were a sight to behold, confident, determined. The energy in the room shifted when they took their seats. Zack leaned in, eager for more details. And how did the Council treat them? Naren's smile was rueful, not at first. Some of the other races tried to put the humans in their place, talking down to them like they were children. But the humans didn't take it lying down. They argued their case with a passion and eloquence that left everyone stunned. The recruit absorbed this information with growing respect. So the humans didn't just win a battle, they won the entire war. Naren raised his empty glass in a toast. Damn right. And now the galaxy will never be the same. Zack sat back, his mind racing with the implications of Naren's story. He had always thought of humans as a primitive species, barely worth noticing. But now he saw them as a force of nature, a species with the strength, intelligence, and determination to stand up to the most powerful forces in the galaxy. The rise of the human coalition. In the Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Council, representatives from various species gathered around the imposing central table. The atmosphere was tense, with murmurs and whispers filling the room. At the head of the table, a sleek, dark-skinned alien named Krellin, the newly appointed Counselor for Earth, was preparing to address the assembly. Beside him stood a human delegate, Lieutenant Commander Sarah Thompson, whose posture and demeanor exuded confidence and determination. The council members, a mix of alien races from across the galaxy, shifted uneasily in their seats. They were accustomed to seeing their own kind in positions of power and influence, and the inclusion of a human in such a high-profile role was an unprecedented development. Krellin, his voice smooth and authoritative, addressed the assembly. Esteemed members of the Council, we gather here today to discuss the integration of Earth into our collective governance. Lieutenant Commander Thompson will present the new proposals for our coalition, which have been meticulously crafted to ensure a harmonious coexistence. Sarah stepped forward, her expression resolute. Thank you, Councillor Krellin. Distinguished members of the Council, it is an honor to be here today representing Earth and its people. We have spent considerable time preparing our proposals, and we believe they will benefit not only Earth, but the entire galaxy. As Sarah began outlining the proposals, the room fell silent. She spoke with clarity and conviction, addressing the key areas of concern: trade agreements, defense cooperation, and cultural exchange programs. Her presentation was detailed and well-researched, showcasing the depth of preparation that the human delegation had undertaken. Among the delegates, a few voices of skepticism could be heard. An elderly alien named Zorin, known for his sharp tongue and formidable intellect, raised his hand. "Commander Thompson, while your proposals are impressive, how can we be certain that Earth will uphold its end of the agreements? The Council has faced numerous challenges with member worlds in the past." Sarah met Zorin's gaze steadily. "I understand your concerns, Councillor Zorin. To address them, we propose a comprehensive monitoring and verification system. Earth will adhere to all agreed-upon terms, and we are willing to allow periodic reviews and audits to ensure transparency and accountability." The murmurs in the chamber grew louder as the delegates processed Sarah's response. Zorin's eyes narrowed, but he nodded in acknowledgement. "Very well. We will review the proposal in detail. Are there any further questions?" A young delegate from the Drekari race, known for their keen interest in technological advancements, spoke up. "Commander Thompson, Earth has demonstrated remarkable technological progress. Can you provide more details on how these advancements will be shared within the Council framework?" Sarah smiled, appreciating the interest. "Certainly. Earth is committed to sharing its technological innovations in fields such as energy production, medical advancements, and space exploration. We believe that collaborative efforts in these areas will drive progress and benefit all member worlds." As the bar patrons cheered at the holoscreens, showing images of human diplomats shaking hands with council representatives, Zach knew that he wasn't the only one coming to this realization. The universe belonged to the humans now, and it was never going to be the same. The Drakari delegate nodded, clearly impressed. "This is promising. I look forward to seeing the detailed proposals on these technologies." As the meeting continued, Sarah's proposals received a mix of praise and cautious optimism. By the end of the session, the council members had agreed to review the details further and reconvene for a final vote. The atmosphere, while still charged with skepticism, had shifted towards a more cooperative tone. Outside the council chamber, Sarah and Krellin walked through the bustling corridors of the council headquarters. The tension of the meeting was palpable, but both were visibly relieved. "Well done, Commander," Krellin said, his voice filled with genuine admiration. "You handled the council with grace and competence." Sarah gave a nod of appreciation. "Thank you, Councillor Krellin. This is just the beginning. We've made a strong case, but there's still a lot of work ahead to ensure that our proposals are accepted and implemented." Krellin's expression turned thoughtful. "Indeed, the council is not easily swayed, but you've proven that Earth is not only capable, but also a valuable ally. Our next step will be to secure the final approval and start working on the practical aspects of integration." As they continued their walk, Krellin's gaze turned contemplative. "You know, Sarah, Earth's integration into the Council is more than just a diplomatic achievement. It represents a significant shift in the balance of power in the galaxy." Sarah nodded in agreement. "Yes, and it's a testament to what humanity can achieve when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges. We've shown that we can stand toe-to-toe with the most powerful forces in the galaxy and come out on top." Krellin's eyes gleamed with a mix of admiration and anticipation. "Indeed, and as we move forward, we must ensure that Earth's role is not just one of passive participation, but active contribution. Our goal is to foster a true partnership where all parties benefit." Back on Earth, the mood was celebratory as news of the successful presentation spread. In a bustling command center, President Elena Martinez addressed a group of high-ranking officials and military leaders. "Today, we've taken a monumental step forward," President Martinez declared, her voice filled with pride. "Our representatives have made it clear that Earth is not only a force to be reckoned with, but also a partner in shaping the future of our galaxy. We've proven that our spirit and determination are unmatched. The room erupted in applause and cheers. General Mark Thompson, Sarah's father and a decorated veteran, stepped forward with a beaming smile. I'm proud of what our delegation has accomplished. This is a victory for all of humanity and a testament to our resilience. As the celebrations continued, the leaders of Earth began to discuss the next phase of their integration into the Galactic Council. Plans for expanding diplomatic relations, establishing trade routes, and collaborating on scientific projects was set into motion. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the news of Earth's growing influence and successful integration spread quickly. Races that had once dismissed humanity as insignificant began to reconsider their own positions and alliances. The Council's decision to welcome Earth as an equal had set off a chain reaction of reevaluations and strategic shifts among the galaxy's diverse inhabitants. In the quiet of the Council's observation deck, Krellin and Sarah stood side by side, gazing out at the vast expanse of stars. The enormity of the galaxy lay before them, a canvas on which humanity's future would be painted. Krellin turned to Sarah with a thoughtful expression. Commander Thompson, the road ahead will not be without its challenges, but if today is any indication, humanity is more than ready to face them. Sarah nodded, her gaze steady and confident. We are ready, and we will continue to prove ourselves as worthy partners in this galactic community. As they looked out at the stars, both Krellin and Sarah understood that the journey was just beginning. The integration of Earth into the Galactic Council was a historic achievement, but it was also the first step towards a new era of collaboration and mutual respect among the galaxy's diverse civilizations. The story of humanity's rise from a backwater world to a galactic power was unfolding, and the chapters yet to be written promised to be as extraordinary as the ones that had come before. The tides of diplomacy. The morning sun rose over Earth's capital, casting a golden glow over the bustling cityscape. In the heart of this metropolis, the United Nations headquarters had transformed into a hub of interstellar diplomacy. Representatives from various alien species mingled with Earth's top leaders, engaged in discussions that would shape the future of humanity's place in the galaxy. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Thompson, now a central figure in the negotiations, was at the center of a high-stakes meeting. She sat at a long table surrounded by diplomats, scientists, and military officers from both Earth and the Galactic Council. The room was filled with the hum of conversation, the clinking of glasses, and the occasional buzz of a translator device working to bridge the linguistic gaps. President Elena Martinez, flanked by her advisors, addressed the assembly. Thank you all for being here. Today marks a significant milestone in our interstellar relations. We are not just participants but active contributors to the Galactic Council. Our goal is to ensure that these contributions are meaningful and mutually beneficial. A tall, blue-skinned alien named Raxa, representing the Draxari, cleared his throat. President Martinez, we appreciate Earth's enthusiasm and the proposals presented thus far. However, there are concerns regarding the security and stability of trade routes that Earth will be responsible for. Sarah, who had been studying a detailed map of the proposed trade routes, stepped forward. Councillor Raxa, I understand your concerns. To address them, we've developed a comprehensive security plan that includes joint patrols with the Council's forces and advanced monitoring systems. We believe this will ensure the safety and efficiency of these routes. Raxa's gaze was scrutinizing, but he nodded slowly. That is reassuring. The Draxari are particularly interested in the proposed energy exchange programs. Could you provide more details on how these will be implemented? Sarah smiled, appreciative of the interest. Certainly. Earth has developed several advanced energy technologies, including fusion reactors and antimatter energy cells. We propose establishing a cooperative research initiative where Council scientists and our engineers can work together to optimize and share these technologies. The room buzzed with conversation as the delegates discussed the proposal. The energy exchange program was seen as a major step forward, promising to address some of the galaxy's most pressing energy needs. However, the discussions also highlighted the challenges that lay ahead. As the meeting progressed, the focus shifted to the topic of cultural exchange. A representative from the Tselari, a race known for their rich artistic heritage, spoke up. "We are excited about the cultural exchange programs proposed by Earth. However, we must ensure that these exchanges foster genuine understanding rather than mere spectacle." Sarah nodded, acknowledging the point. "Absolutely. Our approach to cultural exchange is designed to facilitate genuine dialogue and learning. We plan to establish cultural hubs on Earth and Council worlds where artists, scholars, and everyday citizens can interact and share their traditions and knowledge." The Xelari representative seemed satisfied with the answer. "Very well. We look forward to seeing how these exchanges will enrich our collective understanding." As the meeting drew to a close, the atmosphere was one of cautious optimism. The proposals were well received, but there was a clear understanding that implementation would require continued cooperation and negotiation. Later that evening, Sarah and her team gathered in a conference room to debrief. The atmosphere was a mix of relief and exhaustion as they reviewed the day's events. "Today was a success," President Martinez said, looking around at her team. "But we must remain vigilant. The real work begins now." General Mark Thompson, Sarah's father, leaned back in his chair, his expression thoughtful. "We've made a strong impression, but there are still many hurdles to overcome. The Council is vast and complex, and not all members will be as receptive as those we've dealt with today." Sarah nodded in agreement. "We need to be prepared for setbacks and challenges. Our success depends on our ability to adapt and maintain our commitment to the Council's goals." As the team continued their discussion, the lights of the city below twinkled like stars. The integration of Earth into the Galactic Council was far from complete, but the groundwork had been laid. The path forward would be marked by both triumphs and trials, and the coming weeks would be crucial in determining how smoothly the transition would proceed. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the ripple effects of Earth's integration were beginning to be felt. The news of the new diplomatic and trade agreements was stirring up reactions among various factions. Some saw it as an opportunity to strengthen their own positions, while others viewed it as a threat to their influence. On a distant world, a secluded group of radical separatists known as the Nix Syndicate gathered in a dimly lit conference room. Their leader, a cloaked figure named Thalon, addressed the assembly with a tone of grim determination. "The recent developments in the Galactic Council are a threat to our interests," Thalon said, his voice echoing ominously. "Earth's sudden rise in power and influence cannot be ignored. We must act swiftly to undermine their efforts and restore the balance of power in our favor." The members of the Nix Syndicate nodded in agreement, their expressions darkening with resolve. They had long harbored ambitions to reshape the galaxy's power structure, and Earth's ascent was a significant obstacle to their plans. Back on Earth, the integration efforts continued at a rapid pace. The focus shifted towards practical implementation, setting up joint research facilities, establishing trade agreements, and developing new diplomatic protocols. The work was demanding, but the excitement of forging new paths in galactic diplomacy fueled the determination of everyone involved. In the midst of this bustling activity, Sarah took a moment to reflect on the journey so far. The challenges had been immense, but the progress made was a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of humanity. As she gazed out over the city, she felt a deep sense of pride and anticipation. The road ahead was filled with both promise and uncertainty, but Sarah and her team were ready to face whatever came their way. Earth's place in the galaxy was no longer a distant dream, but a burgeoning reality. And as the stars continued to shine brightly, the story of humanity's rise and its role in the galaxy was only just beginning. Shadows and alliances. In the weeks following the pivotal diplomatic meetings, Earth and the Galactic Council began to make significant strides in their collaboration. Joint research facilities were established, and trade agreements were set in motion. The atmosphere was one of cautious optimism as both parties worked to integrate their systems and cultures. However, beneath this veneer of progress, tensions simmered. The Nix Syndicate, a secretive and formidable group, was working tirelessly to disrupt the burgeoning alliance. Phelan, their enigmatic leader, had set his sights on Earth's new role within the Galactic Council. He knew that if the Syndicate could undermine Earth's integration efforts, they could shift the balance of power in their favor. Phelan convened a meeting with his closest lieutenants in the Syndicate's hidden base, located on a remote moon shrouded in darkness. The room was lit only by the dim glow of holo displays and the occasional flicker of energy from a malfunctioning light fixture. The atmosphere was tense as the Syndicate members gathered around a central table, their faces illuminated by the holographic projections of Earth and Council systems. "We must act decisively," Phelan declared, his voice a low rumble that resonated with authority. "Earth's swift ascent threatens to destabilize the power structure we've worked so hard to manipulate. We need to identify their vulnerabilities and exploit them before it's too late." One of Phelan's lieutenants, a sharp-eyed woman named Kiera, stepped forward. "Our intelligence suggests that the joint research facilities are the key to Earth's technological advancements. If we can sabotage these facilities, we can cause significant setbacks in their integration process." Phelan nodded thoughtfully. "Indeed, the research facilities are critical, but we must be cautious. We cannot afford to make our actions obvious. We need a strategy that will create chaos without revealing our hand." Kiera smiled darkly. "I have just the plan. We'll use a series of subtle disruptions, technical malfunctions, security breaches, and misinformation. Each incident will seem like a random mishap, but together, they will create enough confusion to stall the progress of the research initiatives." Phelan's eyes gleamed with approval. "Execute the plan. And remember, our goal is to weaken Earth's position without exposing ourselves. We must remain in the shadows until the time is right." As the Syndicate's plans began to unfold, Earth's integration efforts continued unabated. The joint research facilities, bustling with activity, were making impressive strides. Scientists and engineers from both Earth and the Galactic Council collaborated on groundbreaking projects that promised to revolutionize energy production and space travel. Sarah Thompson, now a key liaison between Earth and the Council, was deeply involved in these efforts. Her days were filled with meetings, briefings, and coordination between the various teams. Despite the busy schedule, she remained optimistic about the future. One morning, Sarah arrived at the new research facility dedicated to energy technology. The facility, a gleaming structure of steel and glass, housed some of the most advanced equipment known to the galaxy. It was a symbol of the collaborative spirit between Earth and the Council. As she walked through the facility, Sarah was greeted by Dr. Lee, the lead scientist on the fusion energy project. Dr. Lai was a brilliant physicist from Earth who had been working tirelessly to develop new fusion reactors that could be shared with the Council. "Commander Thompson," Dr. Lai said, her face lighting up with a smile. "We're making excellent progress. The new reactor design is showing promising results. I think we're on track to meet our goals ahead of schedule." "That's fantastic news, Dr. Lee," Sarah replied. "The success of this project is crucial for our joint efforts. It will not only benefit Earth, but also strengthen our position within the Galactic Council." As they continued their tour of the facility, an alert flashed across the screens in the control room. Sarah's heart sank as she read the message, "Security breach detected." The facility's security team sprang into action, initiating lockdown procedures and scanning for any potential threats. Sarah, her mind racing, coordinated with the security team to assess the situation. "This isn't good," Dr. Lai said, her voice tinged with concern. "We need to identify the source of the breach and ensure that our research is not compromised." The security team conducted a thorough investigation, but found no immediate evidence of sabotage. The breach appeared to be a false alarm, but the incident left everyone on edge. The sense of unease lingered, a shadow over the otherwise promising developments. Later that day, Sarah convened a meeting with her team to discuss the breach. President Martinez and General Thompson joined the discussion, their faces etched with concern. "We can't ignore these incidents," President Martinez said, her voice resolute. "There have been too many coincidences lately. We need to consider the possibility of deliberate sabotage." General Thompson, his expression serious, nodded in agreement. "Agreed. We must enhance our security measures and investigate further. The last thing we need is for our progress to be derailed by unseen forces." As the team worked to bolster security and address the breach, the syndicate's plan was set in motion. Subtle disruptions began to occur at various facilities. Unexpected system failures, erroneous data transmissions, and mysterious malfunctions. Each incident seemed like an isolated event, but together they created a web of confusion and delay. The Galactic Council took note of the growing issues, and there were whispers of dissatisfaction among the member species. Some questioned the reliability of Earth's technological contributions, while others voiced concerns about the stability of the integration process. In the midst of this turmoil, Sarah received a confidential report from an anonymous source. The report detailed suspicious activities and suggested that the disruptions might be orchestrated by a hidden faction. The information was scant, but it was enough to raise her suspicions. "This report could be a game-changer," Sarah said to her team. "If we can verify its contents, we might be able to identify the source of the disruptions and address the problem more effectively." As Sarah delved deeper into the investigation, the stakes grew higher. The success of Earth's integration into the Galactic Council hinged on overcoming these challenges and ensuring that their collaborative efforts were not undermined. With each passing day, the shadows of the syndicate's machinations loomed larger. The path forward was fraught with obstacles, but Sarah and her team remained steadfast in their determination. They knew that the future of humanity's place in the galaxy depended on their ability to navigate the complexities of interstellar diplomacy and uncover the hidden threats that sought to disrupt their progress. As the situation continued to evolve, the stage was set for a confrontation between the forces of cooperation and the shadowy factions working against it. The journey ahead would be marked by intrigue, danger, and the unwavering resolve to secure a place for humanity among the stars. Unveiling the shadow. The disruptions continued to plague the joint research facilities, and the sense of unease grew more palpable with each passing day. Sarah Thompson and her team, now on high alert, worked tirelessly to address the challenges and ensure the integrity of their projects. The anonymous report she had received was their only lead, and she knew that uncovering the truth was critical. Sarah decided to take a more direct approach. She enlisted the help of Ava, a trusted intelligence officer known for her expertise in covert operations. Ava had been instrumental in tracking potential threats and had a reputation for being thorough and resourceful. In a secure briefing room, Sarah and Ava pored over the details of the report. The room was dimly lit, the air thick with the tension of impending revelations. Ava's sharp eyes scanned the data, her fingers moving swiftly over the holographic interface. "This report mentions a pattern of incidents," Ava said, her voice steady. "The disruptions are not random, but seem to follow a specific sequence. We need to identify the common thread connecting these events." Sarah nodded. "We've already strengthened our security protocols, but we're still dealing with these issues. If this report is accurate, it means we're dealing with a sophisticated and organized effort." Ava's eyes narrowed as she focused on the data. The key here is to look for any anomalies or inconsistencies. If we can pinpoint the source of these disturbances, we might be able to prevent further sabotage. Hours passed as they meticulously analyzed the data. Ava's expertise proved invaluable as she identified subtle patterns and correlations that had previously gone unnoticed. The disruptions, it seemed, were not isolated incidents but part of a coordinated campaign designed to create maximum confusion. "It looks like the disruptions are being orchestrated from a central location," Ava said, finally breaking the silence. "There's a consistent signal that's been traced back to a specific region of space. It could be our primary lead." Sarah's heart raced with anticipation. Where is this signal coming from? Ava tapped a few commands on the interface, and a holographic map of the galaxy appeared. A red dot blinked on the map, indicating the origin of the signal. It's coming from a remote system on the edge of the Galactic Council's territory. It's a known location for illegal activities and black market operations. Sarah's mind raced. If the syndicate is operating from that location, it would explain their ability to carry out these disruptions without immediate detection. We need to investigate. Ava agreed. I'll gather a team and prepare for a covert operation to the system. We'll need to proceed with caution. The syndicate will likely be heavily guarded and prepared for any intrusion. Sarah's resolve hardened. I'll brief President Martinez and General Thompson. We need to coordinate our efforts and ensure we're ready for whatever we might encounter. As Ava's team prepared for the covert mission, Sarah convened a high-level meeting with President Martinez and General Thompson. The situation was becoming increasingly dire, and it was crucial to ensure that everyone was on the same page. In the briefing room, Sarah presented the findings from the report and Ava's analysis. President Martinez listened intently, her face a mask of concern and determination. We cannot afford any more setbacks, President Martinez said, her voice firm. If the syndicate is behind these disruptions, we need to act swiftly to neutralize the threat. General Thompson nodded in agreement. I'll ensure that our military assets are ready to provide support if needed. We must be prepared for a possible confrontation. With the plan in place, Ava and her team set out on their covert mission to the remote system. They traveled aboard a stealth spacecraft designed to evade detection, their path illuminated only by the distant stars. As they approached the target system, the team maintained strict radio silence, their senses heightened for any signs of danger. The remote system was a desolate region of space, its planets and moons obscured by swirling clouds of cosmic dust. Ava's team located the source of the signal, a hidden base concealed within an asteroid field. The base was an intricate network of tunnels and chambers, protected by advanced security systems and guarded by syndicate operatives. Prepare for infiltration, Ava instructed her team. We need to gather as much information as possible and identify the syndicate's operations. Avoid direct confrontation if possible. The team disembarked from their spacecraft and made their way through the asteroid field, using specialized equipment to navigate the treacherous terrain. They approached the hidden base with caution, their movements precise and calculated. Inside the base, the team encountered a series of high-tech security measures, including biometric scanners and encrypted access controls. Ava's team, skilled in bypassing such systems, managed to navigate the defenses and gain entry to the central command hub. The command hub was a labyrinth of consoles and terminals, its walls lined with holographic displays. Ava's team quickly set to work, hacking into the base's systems and retrieving valuable data. As they accessed the central database, Ava uncovered a wealth of information detailing the syndicate's operations. The data revealed their plans to further disrupt Earth's integration efforts and exploit the resulting chaos for their gain. Ava transmitted the findings back to Sarah and the leadership team. The data confirmed their worst fears. The syndicate was not only responsible for the disruptions, but was also planning more aggressive actions to undermine the Galactic Council's stability. With the information in hand, Ava and her team made a hasty retreat from the base, narrowly avoiding detection by syndicate patrols. They returned to their spacecraft and navigated their way back to the safety of known space. Upon their return, Sarah and President Martinez reviewed the intelligence gathered by Ava's team. The data provided a clear picture of the syndicate's objectives and their methods of operation. We have enough evidence to confront the syndicate, Sarah said. The destruction campaign is part of a larger strategy to destabilize the Galactic Council and gain control over key territories. President Martinez nodded. We'll need to coordinate with the Council and prepare for a joint response. The syndicate's actions cannot be tolerated. As preparations began for a coordinated effort to counter the syndicate, the stakes were raised. The future of Earth's place within the Galactic Council was now intricately linked to the success of this operation. The battle against the shadowy forces threatening their progress had just begun, and the road ahead was fraught with uncertainty and peril. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test the resolve and unity of both Earth and the Galactic Council. The outcome of this struggle would determine the future of interstellar cooperation and the delicate balance of power within the galaxy. The gathering storm. As the revelations from the covert mission settled into the minds of the leaders, the urgency to act became undeniable. The Syndicate's plans to disrupt the Galactic Council's stability were more sophisticated and dangerous than anyone had anticipated. Earth's integration into the Council, along with the fragile alliances that had been painstakingly built, hung in the balance. In the heart of the Galactic Council's command center, President Martinez convened a high-level strategy meeting. The room was filled with representatives from various member species, each contributing their own perspectives and expertise to the growing crisis. The air was thick with tension as Sarah, General Thompson, and Ava briefed the assembly on the Syndicate's activities and their potential impact. The Syndicate has escalated their operations, President Martinez began, her voice resolute. Their goal is to destabilize the Galactic Council and seize control of key strategic locations. We have evidence that they are planning more aggressive actions in the coming weeks. A murmur of concern swept through the room as the representatives absorbed the gravity of the situation. The Council, composed of diverse species with their own interests and agendas, faced the challenge of uniting against a common threat. We need to mount a coordinated response, General Thompson said. This requires not only military readiness, but also strategic alliances. The Syndicate is likely to exploit any divisions among us. A representative from the Yllari, a technologically advanced species known for their expertise in cyber warfare, spoke up. Our intelligence suggests that the Syndicate is using sophisticated hacking techniques to disrupt communications and sow discord. We must enhance our cyber defenses and ensure that our networks are secure. Another representative, a diplomat from the Yllari, a species known for their diplomatic finesse, added, "It's crucial that we maintain unity and avoid any actions that might deepen existing rifts. The Syndicate thrives on chaos and division." President Martinez nodded in agreement. We need to present a unified front and demonstrate our collective strength. I propose a joint operation to neutralize a Syndicate's threat and prevent further disruptions. This will involve military action, intelligence operations, and diplomatic efforts. The representatives agreed to the plan, and the Council began mobilizing its resources. The military forces of the Galactic Council were put on high alert, and intelligence agencies across member species coordinated to gather additional information on the Syndicate's plans. In the midst of these preparations, Sarah and Ava worked closely with their counterparts from other species to refine their strategies. Ava's expertise in covert operations was instrumental in planning the tactical aspects of the mission, while Sarah's deep understanding of the Syndicate's methods guided the overall approach. Meanwhile, the Syndicate, oblivious to the full scale of the Council's response, continued their efforts to undermine the Galactic Council. Their operations became more brazen, targeting critical infrastructure and attempting to incite dissent among member species. In the hidden depths of their base, the Syndicate's leadership convened a strategy meeting of their own. The room was filled with shadowy figures, their faces obscured by darkness. The leader of the Syndicate, a figure known only as the Shadow Master, addressed the gathered operatives. "Our plan is progressing as expected," the Shadow Master said, their voice low and menacing. "We have created sufficient chaos and confusion to weaken the Council's resolve. However, they are beginning to respond more aggressively. We must accelerate our efforts to ensure that our objectives are met." One of the operatives, a senior strategist, spoke up. "We've encountered increased resistance and tighter security. Our disruptions are being countered more effectively than anticipated." The Shadow Master's eyes glowed with an eerie intensity. "We anticipated this. The Council will rally its forces, but they are also vulnerable. Our next move must be decisive. We have a final opportunity to strike a critical blow to their morale and operations." The Syndicate's plans took on a new urgency as they prepared to launch a major offensive. Their goal was to carry out a high-profile attack that would not only further destabilize the Galactic Council, but also undermine the unity of its member species. Back on Earth, the coordinated response began to take shape. The Galactic Council's military forces assembled in a joint task force, ready to confront the Syndicate's threat. Specialized units from various species were integrated into the operation, each bringing their unique capabilities to the mission. Sarah and Ava led a task force that included representatives from the Yulari and Selari, as well as other key allies. Their mission was to strike at the heart of the Syndicate's operations, targeting their primary base and disrupting their command structure. As the task force prepared for the operation, tensions ran high. The stakes were immense, and the outcome of this mission would determine the future of the Galactic Council and its efforts to maintain peace and stability in the galaxy. In the final hours before the operation, the leaders of the Galactic Council gathered for a briefing. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The operation was set to commence at dawn, and the hopes of a galaxy rested on their success. Today, we stand united against a common enemy, President Martinez said, addressing the assembled leaders. Our resolve and cooperation will determine the outcome of this mission. We must show the Syndicate that we are stronger together and that their attempts to divide us will fail. With the briefing concluded, the task force moved into position. The spacecraft and personnel readied themselves for the impending assault on the Syndicate's base. The final phase of their preparations was underway, and the sense of purpose and determination was palpable. As the first light of dawn began to break over the galaxy, the task force launched its coordinated attack. The mission was a culmination of weeks of preparation and collaboration, and the outcome would shape the future of interstellar relations. The stage was set for a decisive confrontation with the Syndicate, and the fate of the Galactic Council hung in the balance. The gathering storm was about to unleash its fury, and the galaxy would witness the clash of forces that would determine its destiny. The final confrontation. As the first rays of dawn touched the galaxy's edge, the task force launched its assault on the Syndicate's base. The operation was a delicate dance of precision and power, orchestrated with meticulous care. The task force, composed of elite units from across the Galactic Council, moved swiftly through the void of space, their ships streaking towards the Syndicate's stronghold. Sarah, Ava, and their team were at the forefront of the attack, their ships slicing through the darkness with determined speed. The Syndicate's base loomed ahead, a massive fortress-like structure nestled within a rocky asteroid belt. Its imposing exterior was designed to withstand assaults, but the Galactic Council's forces had prepared for this moment with painstaking detail. Inside the Syndicate's command center, the Shadow Master paced with an air of controlled menace. The alarms had blared, and the base was in full alert. The Syndicate's operatives scrambled to respond to the incoming assault, but their efforts were hampered by the Galactic Council's advanced tactics and overwhelming force. "This is it," Sarah said, her voice steady over the comms as she directed her squad through the chaos. "We've breached the outer defenses. Ava, take point and lead the way to the command center." Ava's response was swift. "Understood. We're moving in." The team navigated through the labyrinthine corridors of the Syndicate's base, their path illuminated by the flashing red lights of the alarm system. Each step brought them closer to the heart of the Syndicate's operations, where they hoped to dismantle the organization's command structure and disrupt their plans. As they advanced, they encountered fierce resistance from Syndicate operatives. The Syndicate's forces, although caught off guard, were fiercely loyal and well-trained. The ensuing battle was a fierce clash of wills and firepower, with each side determined to achieve victory at any cost. General Thompson's forces provided critical support from the rear, engaging in space combat to ensure the task force's advance. The coordinated effort was a testament to the strength of the Galactic Council's alliances, as ships from various species worked together to neutralize threats and provide cover. In the heart of the Syndicate's command center, the Shadow Master watched the unfolding battle with a mixture of anger and grim satisfaction. Their plans had always been to provoke a reaction from the Galactic Council, and the intensity of the battle was a testament to the effectiveness of their strategy. "We need to accelerate our plans," the Shadow Master said to the senior operatives around them. "The Council is pressing harder than anticipated. If we don't act quickly, we risk losing our advantage." The senior strategist nodded in agreement. "We're preparing to initiate the self-destruct sequence. That should cause enough chaos to cover our escape and ensure that the Council doesn't capture any critical data." As the Shadow Master's operatives prepared the base's self-destruct sequence, Sarah and her team reached the central control room. The room was filled with complex consoles and screens, each displaying vital information about the Syndicate's operations. The task force quickly set to work, planting explosives and sabotaging key systems. Ava, her eyes scanning the room, located the main control terminal. With precise movements, she interfaced with the terminal, accessing the Syndicate's data and extracting critical information about their plans and remaining assets. "Data extraction complete," Ava reported. "We've got what we need. Let's get out of here before the self-destruct sequence initiates." The team quickly retraced their steps, their path now marked by the sounds of explosions and the increasing urgency of the base's alarms. As they made their way back to their ships, the Syndicate's forces fought desperately to repel the Galactic Council's assault. Outside the base, the space battle raged on. The task force's ships engaged in fierce dogfights with Syndicate fighters, their advanced tactics and coordination proving crucial in gaining the upper hand. The Syndicate's base, now heavily damaged, began to show signs of imminent collapse. With the self-destruct sequence ticking down, Sarah and her team boarded their ships and joined the retreat. The final moments were a blur of activity as the task force escaped the exploding base, the shockwaves of the detonation reverberating through space. As they regrouped, the members of the task force looked back at the remnants of the Syndicate's stronghold. The mission had been a success, but the cost had been high. The Galactic Council's forces had endured significant losses, and the impact of the battle would be felt across the galaxy. President Martinez addressed the task force as they returned to the Galactic Council's command center. Her voice was filled with both relief and resolve. "Today, we faced a formidable enemy and emerged victorious. The Syndicate's threat has been neutralized, and their plans have been thwarted. However, our work is far from over. We must rebuild, strengthen our alliances, and continue to ensure the stability and peace of the galaxy." Sarah and Iva, though wary from the intense battle, felt a sense of accomplishment. The success of the mission was a testament to the strength of the Galactic Council's unity and the dedication of its members. As the galaxy began to heal from the scars of conflict, the Galactic Council renewed its commitment to maintaining peace and cooperation among its member species. The battle against the Syndicate had tested their resolve, but it had also forged stronger bonds and highlighted the resilience of their collective efforts. In the aftermath of the confrontation, the Council focused on rebuilding and reinforcing its security measures. The lessons learned from the battle would guide future endeavors, ensuring that the galaxy remained vigilant against any threats that might arise. The story of the Syndicate's defeat became a symbol of the Galactic Council's enduring strength and unity. It was a reminder that, despite the challenges and conflicts, the galaxy's diverse species could come together to overcome even the most formidable adversaries. As the stars continued to shine brightly across the galaxy, the hope for a future of peace and cooperation remains strong, fueled by the shared determination of those who had fought to protect it.